Hey, what is going on, guys? Josh's Tech Tips. Welcome to another video on my channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be setting up my test bench. This is obviously going to be for work purposes, but I can also use it towards YouTube purposes, as it's kind of intertwined anyway. If you guys want to see some like benchmarks of these cards, just let me know. I'm not going to do a bunch of gaming benchmarks, just because a lot of games can't really run it, and there's only like a little AMD CPU in here, and it's not great. Until I can get a better CPU for my test bench, which if you guys want, you can donate down below to assist me. I don't usually like asking for donations. I actually usually cut these parts out of each video I ask for donations, but I'll leave this part in. If you guys want to donate and help me get at least a Core i5 like 13600K to put in here as a test bench with a motherboard and RAM, I would definitely be doing that just to do test bench videos for you guys. That way I have something that can actually utilize GPUs and neither will be a bottleneck. But so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving all this hardware onto this test bench. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start by disconnecting everything. If you guys are curious on the CPU, it's an AMD, I want to say it's like a FX CPU of some kind. I don't know which one, but it's like an AMD FX. I'll tell you once we get into Windows, because we're going to boot it up and stuff. But first off, we're just going to start by disconnecting everything. If you guys want to buy this, there will be a link in the description below. You guys can go ahead and buy it on Amazon. I don't know how much it is. I think it's around $32, maybe $31. It's actually a really good steal. All it does is it connects here. I was going to record me putting it together, but I decided to put it together as it didn't take long. It does come with standoffs as well and some screws to screw in the motherboard. I don't know what these plastic like hooks are for. I haven't really figured that out yet, and it didn't really say anything in the manual. So if you know what these are for, let me know in the comments below. We are going to be using, this is actually on a test bench, but this test bench is going to be easier because it's all intertwined with the power supply, graphics card, and you can actually connect a solid state to this, which I'm going to be connecting my, what is this, a 500 gigabyte SSD, because this is my test drive. I also need to get a new SATA cable. So let's go ahead and get everything disconnected. We're probably going to be using this, and this actually has adhesive, so I might attach this, because this is going to be a permanent thing. And even if I change the motherboard, I can just disconnect this and reconnect it to the new board. I'm not really sure where I'm going to connect the AIO, because it's got a 120 on it, but I'll figure that out. I'm sure I can figure something out. I might be able to like make a mount for it, like 3D print a mount for it, see if I can do it that way. We're going to connect the power supply first. It's a 500 watt EVGA unit. It's just 80 plus. It's going to be fine for what it is. It came in because it didn't work, and it works fine, and I've been using it on my tech machine, but I decided to switch it over to being used for a test bench. And I have more than one power supply, so if this one dies, I can put a new one in. That's not the correct way. Look at that. Just like that, she's going to go in. This is actually going to be really nice to test things. Like I said, if you guys want to see videos where I'm testing stuff, let me know, and that can be arranged. Let's go ahead and get this open so I can get the power supply in. This is really just to test hardware, like if a graphics card comes in and for some reason it's not working in a system, we can test it to confirm if it's the card or if it's the computer, like the motherboard, for example. The power supply can also be a factor. And I know this power supply works. I'll probably replace it with something like at least 1,000 watt. That way we have plenty of power, like if we have to test a 3090 or a 4090. That'll probably never happen, but you never know. I've had 3090s come in before. I can at least dream, right? Let's go ahead and get this done. Move this down so you guys can actually watch. Problemo solved. This is going to make life so much easier when it comes to testing stuff. And I can use this older test bench for something else. Like if I want to put the motherboard on it, I should make it so I can like just put the motherboard on without having to screw it in so it stays. Get like some standoffs that just hold it in. Maybe I could 3D print something. So for me, it's going to be 300 years, but for you, it's going to be a few seconds because, well, not really movie magic, but editing magic. All right, so I got all the screws out. Let's go ahead and take this off. Bring it over. The IO's kind of in the way. And plop it into its new home. Where hopefully it'll live until either the motherboard dies or I replace it. Just make sure everything's good. It looks good. Move this out of my way. I'll put those back in later. Try to go all over the place to make it all even when it screws in. But sometimes that does not work. I don't know if I'm going to cable manage this thing just because, well, I guess I could. I'm not going to cable manage it, but I might run the cables under just to make it look a little nicer. And to assist my OCD into freaking out. Or not to freak out, I guess. Is the real term for it. Okay, let's just throw the screw all over the motherboard. It's not going to hurt it any. I promise. I actually noticed I might have a spot to mount this AIO. I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like it'll mount right here. I'll test that in a minute. Alright. Am I right? yes and no. That works, I guess. I didn't think these like regular old screws were gonna work, but they do, and they're not ruining the threads. And honestly, I don't really care if it does. It's just a crappy AIO I had laying around, but it cools this thing no problem. So works for me. All right, now we got the AIO in. I'm not gonna do too much cable management because it's just a chassis. Probably should have plugged in the CPU power first, huh? All right. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay, that's fine. Let's just give you guys an overhead view. That way it's a little easier on me. This is the CPU power. Hopefully I can get that plugged in. I don't have to undo all that work I just did. I might have to undo all that work I just did. Yep, that's probably gonna happen. Well, I'm not gonna give up till it gets in there. Granted, it's just 2 screws, but hell yeah. Or heck yeah, sorry, YouTube. There, she's in. All that matters. AIO's in. This will be for the pump. I guess I'll route this on the bottom. Why not? Let's just grab all this and throw it over there, out of my way. Come on. There we go. And then we can go through here. And problemo solved. Now it's going to be uneven, though. Yeah, that's the only thing that's going to... Oh, maybe it won't. Huh. Sweet. I could use some cable ties to hold it in, but that's fine. If it sits on the cable, it's not going to hurt it any. It's tempting to just take one of the screws out and screw it into that. Or the adhesive could work. That'd be cool. But I don't think that's going to happen. What if we put it right here? Oh, imagine that. Okay. I guess I'll take one of those screws out. And we'll go ahead and route this up through here. Let's go ahead and do that first. I honestly think it's because of the screws, but I'll make it work. All right. Now I'd move the camera so you guys could watch, but since this is going to take me a second, I'm not going to move the camera. And problem solved. Look at that. Yeah, it's kind of not happy right now, but I'll fix that. Okay, let's just plug in the front panel while we're down here. So we got power switch, power LED, plus is going to be, or positive is going to be on the left side. Correct? Correct. Then we got HDD LED, which is going to be right here. That is not in the correct plug. That is not in the correct plug, my friend. Plug that in there. I'll bring this back here and then plug in the reset switch into the only spot that's available. Sweet. All right, now let's get the SSD plugged in. Let's put all this under there, and I'll cable manage this probably off camera, just because I don't really want to mess with it right now. Problem solved. Imagine that. Oh, throwing screws everywhere. Do I just want to be smart and send this through here? Will that fit? It will. So let's do this. Let's bring this up on its side. I'll let you guys watch as I do this. Attempt to anyway. Yeah, that'll work. Close enough. Let's grab these SATA cables. Run this through here. We're gonna run this one down all the way down here, and then bloop, through here, and then flip it. Bloop. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do all this. I mean, it's got the clearance. I could just use these holes. Yeah, you know what? I'll be right back. And eventually I want to get feet for this, so hopefully this will still clear. We'll see. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a test bench. If it sits there and sits lopsided, is it going to throw my LCD off? Just a little bit. But I will be okay. I promise that I will survive. I promise. Now let's just see. Oh, okay. Maybe not. It's bothering me a little bit. But hey, I wish I had feet. I wish I could give it feet, but there's no holes for feet. Might be able to make it feet. Basically what I'm doing is I'm using the old standoffs as makeshift feet. And I might be able to get something 3D printed that can like thread into there, and it'll be like a little, have a larger round base. That way it doesn't sit funny. But we will see how this works. It's just really heavy from the power supply, so it's not really working the way I wanted it to. But hey, we're learning, right? It's not perfect by any means, but it's also because of these freaking SATA cables. There we go. It's not going to be moved very often, so even if it is, then whatever. Alright, so let's just put a graphics card in for testing. We'll use this, I think it's like an 8800 GT or something. Yeah, that'll work. Make it. And then I'm not going to route these. I actually might unroute all these cables if I'm being 100% honest, but for now I'm going to leave it. Just because having them routed under is making it a little loppy. Like, wobbly and stuff. Okay, so we got PCIe power plug in. We don't need any of this. The only thing we do need is a Molex for the pump on the AIO, which we can plug in right here. And then wherever the cable went, right here. Plug this in. Alright, let me do a little bit of cleaning up, guys, and we will be back. Alrighty, guys, as you can see, she's working. It's a little messy in the background, so just ignore that. Yeah, she's mad because I have her unplugged, but she is working. As you can see, it's working. The power button, I didn't actually have to turn it on. It just did its own thing. Oh, yeah, I got to plug in the drive. But, yeah, so she is working. Let me get a SATA cable, and we'll plug her in. Alright, guys, she's on. Let's go ahead and test her out. Well, not test her out, but show you the specs. So we've got a AMD 6-core CPU, even though it's only 3 cores, 6 threads. So it does struggle. There's not a whole lot of L3 cache, but it's also an older chip. It's got 6 gigs of DDR3, so it's got a 4 and a 2 for sticks. It's running really slow, but it's an older chip. We got our 500 gigabyte SSD, and our graphics card is working, but it's old, so it doesn't show up in Device Manager, or sorry, Task Manager. It does show up in Device Manager, though. 8800 GT. But yeah, she works. Let me know what you guys think of videos like this, where I'm just doing a little bit of a, it's kind of a vlog, a tech vlog. I'm just doing something, and I'm recording it, bring you guys along for the ride. I didn't really have a video idea, so I figured I'd do something like this. Let me know what you guys want to see done with this test bench in the comments below. I could add some modifies to it, as long as it doesn't ruin it. We'll go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you thought it sucked. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace out.